And I'll start by just going over the first couple of chapters of the text again. I want to point out some things as I go through today. In that text it says, "Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying," in verse 2 it says, "Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise." Arise. And that word arise means to get up from sitting down, from sitting and laying, and even kneeling. Sometimes we got to get up after we pray. God said arise. He said he's dead. I would imagine that Joshua was mourning a little bit. And God came to him and said that he's dead. He already must have knew that he was dead, because he said now, in the first verse it says, "Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua." After the death of Moses. So then God, is almost sometimes people have to shake us every once in a while and say, "Wake up, that's over with. It's over with, let's go. Rise up." Right? Rise up. Stop laying there. Got something for you to do. Now go over to Jordan. And take all the people unto the land which I do give unto them, even unto the children of Israel. And this is what I like in verse 3. It says, "Every place that the sole of your feet shall tread, unto that have I given." He didn't say I was giving it to you. I've given it to you already. You ain't even get there yet, but it's already yours. How many of you know God got some stuff that's already ours already? You're not even there yet.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
I'm giving it to you. It's already given. So many promises in the Word of God. That God already done given it to us. We constantly beg, but we got to arise. He said, "Get up. Moses is dead.
Yes.
Got something for you." So I like to title this, "If It's God's Will." So often we say that all the time, if it's God's will, if it's God's will, if it's God's will. But sometimes the question is, how do I know when it's God's will? How can I be sure that it's God's will? How do I know I'm not just acting on emotions? Somebody's playing a trick on my emotions. You know, people play on your emotions, you know. That's why there's so many false religions out there. They get the people all emotional. And they wind up giving their wallet, their cars, and everything away. They got caught up in the moment. How do I know it's God's will? And they think that it's God's will that they're doing these things. Right? They think that it's God's will. We vote for the wrong people in office because they give speeches that play to our emotions. We're going through something. They say, "I promise you you'll be working by next year. I promise you everybody's going to have a car and a house." They play on our emotions. So we act on emotions. We act out of character. We panic. Snow, 2 inches of snow, people running through the market because they watch TV all day. They're grabbing everything off the shelf because they're emotional. Barricading themselves in. Buying up all the flashlights. Cases of batteries. Now having yard sales. So how do I know it's God's will? Well, there's always the obvious when we know right from wrong. Some things we know. I ain't got to ask if it's God's will. We should pray. There's some things it's obvious that we know that it's God's will. But what about the times when it's not so obvious? Do I stand still until your will is clear? But Lord, I've been standing still and it's still not clear to you. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Amen. Sometimes you're standing still and I won't stand until it's clear, but it's still not clear. I've been waiting and it's still not clear. What do? I feel like I'm at a crossroad and I don't know which way to go. My navigational system is not working. You know, sometimes those things can be frustrating. They don't even know where they're at. Right? He said, "It's got to be the dumbest thing. Which way do I turn? I'm at a crossroad. I'm holding up traffic." Your children are acting up. You don't know whether to let them stay in the house or put them out. God, what is my will? What is your will? I don't want to act outside of your will. My relationship that I once had with them is dead. What is God saying to me now? He's saying the same thing he said to Joshua. Arise. Stop laying there. Stop kneeling. Act. Do something. Go. Your body can't do what it used to do. Certain things are dead on your body. It don't move like it used to. But what do I do now, God? I can't do what I used to do. I don't know what to do. I used to do this. I used to be able to walk blocks. I used to be able give out these things. Now I can't stand. I can't pass out tracts like I used. Can't do those things anymore. Dead. What do I do, God? What's your will? Someone you love died suddenly. I wasn't expecting it to happen. What do I do? What's your will? What's your will, God? My brother just died a week before. I'm getting ready to go back to training camp. And I don't know. Should I be here praying? Should I be mourning? Or should I go play back football so I can get out my mom out the hood and buy a house? What do I do? That was me. What do I do? What's your will? Everybody said, well, God will, God will. But sometimes you just want to grab somebody and shake and say, but tell me what his will is. Right? I know you saw it, Lord. I know you said, Lord, you never leave me nor forsake me. You don't have to quote me the scriptures. I know what the scriptures say. I know I got Pastor Elvis to just a phone call away. I know I got a loving wife and kids who will be there for me. I know my mom is going to pray for me. I know I have all these things, but still, sometimes I feel all alone. And I still don't know your will, God. So there's three things that we can learn about God's will from Joshua that I've learned from reading and studying this text. One, the first point is, it generally requires a trust. It requires trust and faith. His will is going to use, and it's going to usually be tied to a promise. The definition of trust is reliance, integrity, strength, surety. That's trust. Definition of faith, well, we don't need no dictionary definition of that. Hebrews 11 tells us, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So God's will usually requires trust and faith. So even when we don't know what to do, we know that whatever it is, it's going to require some trust. It's going to require some faith. See, faith is not believing that it will be done. Faith is believing that it's already done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I remember when I was going to the NFL, my mom, the scout said, you're going to go in the 4th or the 5th round. That's for sure. That's what the NFL scouts told me. But I remember my mom said, when I prayed, and you're going in the 1st or 2nd round. I said, Mom, you don't understand football. You don't know. This is Mel Kiper. Now, they done said this already. They know where I'm going at. How can you tell me? And my mom said, I know. That's how you'll see. I know. And sure enough, I went in the 2nd round. See, she believed that it was already done.
Yeah.
I had faith that it will be done. She said it's done.
Yeah.
Back to Joshua. Think about this. Moses is dead. He's my leader. The one that he followed out of Egypt. His friend. His hero. The one that he could talk to when times got tough. He's dead. He's dead. I ain't got him no more. He's dead. Joshua probably was sitting around before God said, hey, look, Moses is dead. God had to tell him again, he's dead. Arise. His God example was dead. So in verse 1-2, God spoke to Joshua and said, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise and go over to Jordan. In other words, he was saying, look, now you the leader. I need you to step up. There's sometimes in a point in our life we have to step up, isn't that right? Yeah. We ain't got our mother and father to step up for us no more. Yeah. We ain't got nothing to protect us no more. We got to do something for ourselves.
Yes, right.
Every child going to cross that road where you going to be the one. You might say, well, that was an easy one. It was an easy one. That has nothing to do with trust. I mean, God already told him to arise and go with you to Jordan. He was going to give him the land. So where does the trust come in? God spoke directly to him. I wish he would talk to me in that type of voice. I know what to do too. Right? But see, he spoke, he did. But here's what happened though. See, in verse 1-3, he says, every place that the sole of your foot shall tread, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. Yes. Right? And he said that I will be with you. I will not leave you, nor will I forsake you. Now, Joshua could have said, no, wait a minute, God. You said you would never leave me, but Moses did. I thought you said something like this to Moses. Well, I mean, how should I trust you? Moses was my boy. If he didn't make it, how can I do it? And that's what some people say about their parents. If their parents did it, how can I do it? Ain't nobody else in my family ever made it. How can I do it? Exactly. They're back to the trust again. You're right. Right back to the trust, right? He could have said, I've been in the wilderness for 40 years. And we left Egypt on this promise. Moses died. My mother prayed. I didn't see her get no new job. My father worked hard. He was in church every Sunday. He died. He had nothing. He didn't do it. Why should I trust this God? Right? I've seen all the other things. I've seen people praying. I've seen the Christians ain't got nothing. They poor begging on the street. Why should I trust God? Why should I trust you? Moses is dead. He could have had a pity party and used his pity as an excuse not to trust God anymore. Man, after my parents, I don't got no trust. I don't believe in that stuff no more. I used to serve in the church, but after this happened to me, if I'm in the church and somebody says something bad to me, then it must not be God in that church. I ain't going back. I don't want to do that no more. I'm off of this. But instead, Joshua trusts God anyhow. Aren't you glad he trusted God anyhow? We got to trust God anyhow. Despite of the war, despite of what the President Obama, despite of what the country going on in the country, despite of the 911, we got to trust God anyhow. And he moved on faith. Faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. See, Joshua had never seen the promised land, but he moved anyway. He moved on faith. See, Joshua could have said, wait a minute, you said go across the Jordan? Isn't that a river? We ain't got no boat. We in Lebanon, we in the desert. How we gonna get across the Jordan? Man, I ain't gonna cross no, we ain't gonna get across no Jordan. Right? God, you want me to do this? I ain't even got a car. You want me to witness to something? I don't know no scripture. I ain't got no notes. You want me to do this? You calling me to preach? I don't even know. How can I preach? I mean, God, I done did some things in my life. I ain't got no boat. But he trusts God anyhow. Yes. He moved on faith. He arose. God told him to arise. And he did. See, when you step on faith, he just moved, right? He moved out. So, the second point, and that's what he did. He moved. That's what we got to do. The second point is, how do I know is God will? Well, it's going to require you to take action. It's going to require you to take an action. When you're unconfused, when you're confused, you don't know which way to go. And taking action means get outside the comfort zone. It always don't have to be moving. You got to get outside your comfort zone. You might not have to move. You might just have to say something to one of your coworkers tomorrow. Do you know the Lord? It ain't always got to be going somewhere. You ain't got to march all the time to do that. Sometimes it's just opening up your mouth. Get outside your comfort zone. See, a lot of Christians and a lot of people, or we call Christians and like us, we want to serve God in our comfort zone. We want God to make his way into our comfort zone so that we can feel good. We want to blend in, not stand out. The Bible says, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by renewing of your mind. I know the world got a lot of stuff to offer, but we got to stand up. Can't blend in. You got to get outside our comfort zone. In the day in the world of confusion, we can't blend in. They got to know we're Christians by our love. We can't get in an argument right back with them. They got to know we're Christians by our love. So, Joshua had to get out of his comfort zone. He had to go to an unfamiliar place. He had to cross over. He had to become the leader that God called him to be. Moses was the leader, but Joshua never led, but he stepped outside. See, I believe God is calling all of us to lead. And you might say, what does he got me lead? Where can I lead? Well, lead people to Christ. That's one way to lead.
Yes.
All right? You ain't got to be in charge of nothing to lead something. Right? That's it. You might say, that's what I was saying. They need to put me in charge. No, you ain't got to be in charge of nothing. You just got to be able to spread the gospel, the good news.
Yes, sir.
You can lead that way first. I can lead that way first.
Come on, preach.
Get outside our comfort zone. Sometimes we know we need to tell somebody about the Lord, but we don't want to say it because we don't want everybody to think I'm a holy roly on my job. We want to eat lunch with the same crowd we've been eating lunch with. We don't want them to look at it.